All right, so welcome back into the Metaverse. Today we're going to be diving into Mobox and what they're doing in the MOMOverse. Go into a deep dive, also cover a couple of other stories that are really kind of shaking up kind of the direction of where the Metaverse and NFT and blockchain gaming will be going. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into Metaverse Insider. Today joining me, of course, is Dölger, who has been with us now for a couple of shows now. It's been great to kind of have someone to kind of bounce ideas off of, but Dölger over from Unix Gaming. Great to have you back in.
Hey, Paul. Yeah, it's always a pleasure. It's my favorite day in the week, talking about the latest hits in the metaverse. So yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Let's get into a couple of things. I want to jump over to a couple of stories. We'll do a quick rundown, not go too deep in these. We'll probably do some videos on these, but Sandbox, HSBC to become the first global financial services provider to enter the Sandbox. Now, we've talked about this before, Dölger, on our show about financial services, banks, all sorts of things will start to, in real world type businesses, will start to kind of make their footprint known in the metaverse. What are your thoughts on how and if Sandbox can really accelerate and lead the way in terms of for other metaverses to understand how to do these partnerships? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I love what they're doing. Really, they bring like from fashion to finance to real estate. They have everything covered, and I think it's a statement because what we see is actually that digital land or even properties or items become like so important also for the financial system. So you swap now like from, let's say,
Right.
housing real estate business into digital real estate, what's definitely is. And they're doing everything right with these partnerships. I
Yeah.
really enjoy to see always the news what they're doing.
Yeah, you brought up and I think Sandbox is going to be just one of those that could be one of those, gigantors in the market that really just kind of showcase, one, their ability to do the partnerships, and then two, the big key here is the ability to execute, because that's going to be the thing that I think draws in so many other brands. And also, utility aspects of the metaverse. If you can see something being in real use case, the potential for other partnerships are going to be huge. So definitely going in that direction. You brought up a story for today, and that was Bored Ape creators purchased CryptoPunks. Means it's now going to be owned two of the top selling NFT projects. It seems to be becoming a kingdom in the NFT world. What do you think about this? What's this going to do?
I mean, that's massive because Yuga Labs, this is the new project basically, and it's the umbrella for Bored Apes, for CryptoPunks. It's also Meebits, and they gonna definitely set stones like where NFT goes, which collection are really, really popular. So it's like the Sandbox now from the blue chip NFTs. It's like this is a statement. So it's like it's nice to see these big collaborations, and the feature here is also because Bored Apes gave commercial rights to the holders, and this didn't apply to Meebits and to the CryptoPunks. So now you will see more and more, I think, promotions and people branding their own collections with the CryptoPunks when they're an owner, or the Meebits. So now they have the true ownership also unlocked. So for me, it's an awesome news here.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the numbers here. You had CryptoPunks and it was Bored Apes and CryptoPunks coming in at around 1 billion, 2.2 billion in trading volume. And then you add in Meebits, which is 227 million in trading volume on OpenSea. Floor price around 4.7 ETH right now in Meebits. To me, this gets into the whole aspect of one, I think it legitimizes even further, even though we don't need really any legitimacy elements within NFTs. But I think what people from an investor side, because a lot of people with money on the sidelines right now in the investor camps, the VCs, the guilds, the companies that are really starting to move into the space in a big way, I think this only validates where tokenization and NFTs are going to be going, especially for utility aspects. And as we see more digital and in-game asset use cases, it's going to be pretty interesting for sure. The last topic, before we get into MOMOverse is, of course, Facebook's move or Meta's move, coming on Instagram now. This a lot happening though. I feel like sometimes with Meta, they drop these press releases at very opportune times or get these news stories out. You know, they have their handful of publications, tech publications that they kind of, I feel like, manipulate to a certain extent. What do you think about the timing with this, along with everything else that's happening?
I think it's for Instagram. It would be perfect. Your art gallery becomes your NFT collection. It's kind
Yeah,
of an NFT marketplace. It would be huge. I mean, like the Instagram is the most used app for socials, and I believe also Mark, because there was a little bit kind of a lashback on Meta, you know, when there
yeah,
was released and Metaverse. So I think getting something out there and maybe showing results is maybe also something, because I think he mentioned it's anytime, so like in the next maybe 3 4 6 months, so
yeah,
it's soon, I would say. So, and then
yeah,
convincing investors and stockholder that the move from the metaverse was in the right direction, I think this is also
yeah, yeah.
something. And I don't know if, I mean, these large companies, they have unlimited resources to develop
Sure.
that, you know. So it's it's definitely a good move to take now already a peak of the market, while also there's other marketplaces coming like Coinbase, and then
Hmm.
being now early also with the Instagram marketplace, I think it's strategic, it's top, yeah. So
Yeah, this is something I've talked about a couple of times, is that, you know, Meta has to really kind of validate to their stockholders the shift, because they've had a pretty significant, you know, reduction, not only in the amount of money that they're spending on the metaverse and what they think is going to be the new direction. So I think this is just one of those other, you know, fuels to the fire that helps support the infrastructure of what the, you know, the shareholders are talking about. And it's going, hey, are we going in the right direction here? Remember, we have this huge ad business, and this is really our business. So are we really doing what we should be doing in kind of the direction of where all of this could go? I think they're, you know, I know it's split right now among our own audience of people who love kind of the direction of where Facebook is going, just in the sense it brings more light in a good way to not only metaverse, but blockchain gaming, all the things that will happen out here. But then there's the people that are like, hey, this is the evil empire. We just don't need to give them any more air. So it's going to be interesting to see how it kind of plays out. Let's get into Mobox, because obviously the MOMOverse has been kind of on the tip of their tongue, in the sense of Mobox is really kind of taking and moving the game up a bit. I was looking at their website, Momo Farmer. You've got the new NFT marketplace, a lot happening within it. I was surprised at these milestones. These registered users, 3.2 million. Their NFT trade volume, 313 million. NFTs minted, 1.3 million. This is pretty significant in terms of the overall size. And when you look at the size of their overall audience, this was another aspect right here, 279,000. I mean, they're really farming. I mean, when you look at this compared to other both metaverse and or gaming projects, one thing I have seen is that in many cases they haven't created a big community just yet. Even Axie Infinity, to a certain extent, outside the gameplay, the community side of things, which really kind of, you know, builds that a little bit of amplification, has not necessarily been in place. So what are your thoughts on how Momo or Mobox is really going to market with the MOMOverse?
I mean, we long time with Momo, yeah. So we purchased the first characters in game, and there was basically just the first game, and they really covering the GameFi, I would say, and
Hmm.
coming now with the Momoverse and really combining that among all the games, the marketplace. This is something. This is a real economy, you know. And
Yeah.
having just one game, and let's say in a marketplace, so their token is basically not relying just on one game or just one activity. So here you can really use the NFTs to stake, to earn the token. So everything goes hand in hand. You know, the NFT you mint or you buy with the token, again, like staking in the DeFi pool, getting rewards in the token, open chest, getting new characters, different rarity, and yeah, having really like farming games, battle games. They have also this 3 versus 3, like Axie Infinity. This is one of their battles, and I really like it's a mini game and many games, and this is what like been super successful ever since. If you consider like
Right.
Facebook, Farmville, and so on.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
And it's easy to play. It's on the mobile. See there on the video now. There's this 3 versus 3 players with some rare skins, and it's you have also skills, talents, and you can earn your Mo token. And they're already listed on Binance. They're building continuously. I would even say under the radar for a long time, but they have a large user base. And this is at the end, you will see they're like, it's you don't need to be like the one hit wonder, like exploding a token, and then you cannot control the growth. And I think Mobox and the MOMOverse, I think that's definitely like they have so much different activities. I really loved it, and our community loved the game as well.
It reminds me a lot of like Zynga and kind of how they went to, mobile gaming and really kind of became one of the key elements within social media from a gaming aspect. I was looking over here on just a little bit within the Mobox site, and they kind of show a little bit of their game structure right here. So you've got the NFT Farmer, you've got Chains Arena, the Mobox Edition, Moland Defense, then you've got Mom Block Brawler, or Momo Block Brawler, then Token Master you were talking about, Tactical Party Slayer. I mean, this is getting into, and I think with this kind of scenario, they pretty much are unlimited on the amount of and the ability to really transition new projects, new games into the MOMOverse that really could help out, which I think a lot of strategies, I mean, Red Fox is doing this. I've seen and talked to them a couple of times, kind of trying to take this approach of really building up a good title roster and kind of find out what really works within these metaverses so that you can really kind of focus in and, jettison the projects that really don't make sense or there's not a lot of, pickup on them for sure. I like that. Do you think it's better to go with a strategy? I know with Unix, with you guys, the strategy is you want to get to as many games and game players as possible. But where is the limit on that? Do you feel like, projects like this need a good dozen, elements within their metaverse, or do you think it's wide open? We're just going to see just so much coming into these spaces.
I think it's a matter of education. Yeah, like first of all, the player need to understand this. Or we as Unix, we're looking for fun games. Yeah, and of course, where your token have kind of like a token, or you can NFTs and upgrade your NFTs, and this is something what we like. And I'm always saying like the games who like, especially like Mobox, who building many games, and then there's always new user experiences, so it's not getting bored as well. So you can, and the next games what you just mentioned is basically already they've been way more with let's say heavier gameplay than in the first games what we saw. The first games been like mini games. The next game is like an arena, what you see with, for example, Titan Arena or other games. So they're expanding the MOMOverse, and and for us in Unix, we're looking basically actually for these kind of games where there is not a high selling pressure on the token, because it's not a salary, right? The reward. Right. It's more like this is a reward because you're having fun, and this is the motivation. And it reminds me actually a little bit now like Gala games, because this is what we like. There's one token, and then covering many games. So the token is very become more and more stable, right? So this is what we enjoy and support with our community. Yeah.
This was the piece that they released on their blog, on their Medium, unboxing the MOMOverse of infinite possibilities. And they kind of break down all the sectors here: Momo World, Mo Profession, which I thought was interesting, Mo Market. This is the NFT order book marketplace. Mo Social. This is kind of the social games embedded within the Momo world. This will be interesting to see how this works, because it does have Guild Wars in there, League of Avatars, then Moseum, obviously for NFT collections, Moland, Mobox creator, design your own, mint your own assets, which I think that goes to the era of Sandbox. But I like the fact that they're moving on this. I'm curious as to whether or not this is going to make a big difference in either one, acquisition of new players, and maybe even more talent, because this is you're going to need more developers, a roster of developers to continue to feed that engine of really great gameplay. Are you seeing any kind of, because I would think with Momo or Mobox and the MOMOverse, that the amount of developers to kind of go at this pace in terms of new game development would have to be massive. Are you seeing more game developers starting to crop up in the open markets out there when you guys are out talking to game devs and all that? Is there enough talent to kind of support these kind of infrastructures?
I think if you look at a gameplay of or the quality of gameplay, what the Mobox or the MOMOverse here bring to the table is, I wouldn't say it's heavy design. So it's basically, I think it's already enough if you have like a kind of a mobile app developer. So there's like, you don't need to have like the maybe the high end development skills, but also definitely they get more and more developers on board. I think that every project have their own teams. Of course, there is overall there's a company structure. So and then I think they're moving. They once, let's say, one project is developed, then you need to maintain it, and then you're moving on to the next. With maybe you have a good technical lead. That's already something. A project manager, technical lead who coordinate the people is, I think, what is crucial. And then you can basically look for the certain coder or talents you need. And I think it's always like everywhere, a good leader is basically important. So and I think they have that, and so I think they will achieve all the gameplays they put out there. It's just a matter of time, like you don't want to shoot all your bullets in the first round, right? So planning them also strategically.
Yeah, for sure. I want to jump over to the Metaverse tokens by market cap, and also just what's moving today. Actually a lot of movement in the space right now, with Cineverse, of course, coming in at number one on the most 24-hour. But you got Star Atlas in the move. You've got obviously Sandbox coming up with their most recent news, Legend of Fantasy, Phantasma, which has been on our list for quite some time. Dot moves, which is kind of interesting that they've been kind of on the move for a little while. And then Remark coming in with a little bit of a gang, Vulcan Forged, Illuvium coming up. A little bit more action right now in the metaverse in terms of overall performance. And I want to take a look at what Mobox is doing now, because this one, I felt like this would be a little bit more of a move. And let me jump over here to our sentiment data, and we'll give you guys a little bit of a look on here. So in comparison, like right now, we pulled this sentiment bubble on Mobox after the news. It got a nice little bump, but it wasn't anything massive when you look at the, kind of the overall of what this project has been dealing with. They've had a pretty big fall off right here. And sentiment has been falling. I mean, they had a 70.29. This was back here in middle of December, when the token was really starting to move downward. So they haven't had a lot of news. Sentiment went even further down to 68. This was back here in January. But then we've had our first sign of positive sentiment again for this project. So I'm anticipating, when you're watching our show, you're looking for where are the moves in the metaverse that we need to be making. How do we need to be watching these certain kind of, whether it's blockchain games or strategic aspects in it. Some of it we reveal in our top 20 metaverse tokens, and then of course in our overall charts over on the CPI or the Crypto Power Index. So make sure and check that out. Hey, Dölger, it's always fun kind of chatting with you in reference to what's happening in the space around this topic. But thanks again for stopping in on the show today.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and we see us in the MOMOverse.
I like it. It's going to happen. All right. You guys are tuned in over on the podcast right now. Make sure and give us a look over here on YouTube. It's pretty simple. Just search Paul Barron Network. You'll find us. And the best thing to do, of course, is jump into the Diamond Circle. That's our private member group. It's where we do a lot of analysis. We drop guides, all sorts of additional content that jumps into it via email back to you. And we do some rewards. So we do giveaways, things of that nature that we send to all of our Diamond Circle members via email. And that's the way to do it. It's easy to get to, and it's free. Just click the link below. If you want to hit me up out on Twitter, it's @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on Inside the Metaverse.